Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for this full moon in Aquarius, August 11th, 2022. I'm Astrologer Dave Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, make sure that you join highvibe.tv if you are already not a member to get these daily horoscopes I do every day. And of course, make sure that you check out the link down below or go to highvibe.tv and go to Hell to Heaven, an awesome 3-hour astrology presentation that I did with Coyote Star Astrology, going into not only these times, but all the way going into the beginning of 2023, the eclipses, Pluto direct, the Pluto return, and so much of the astrology, 2 astrologers going at it for 3 hours to help you guide you through these crazy times. Also, don't miss the awesome episodes I just did, Spiritual Daddy with Brian Scarborough, Fixed Air Moon, and of course, Before Dawn with the Human Design Maven. We just did those shows for this week, and especially through these times, those are some awesome shows you could be watching right now. Well, we are here at the full moon in Aquarius, and this is one that I'm going to just tell you all that on a positive note, you've learned quite a lot of what's not working. The shadow part of this full moon in Aquarius is at this juncture point. Moving forward from here, there's no more room for error. Let's take a look at the chart and see what's going on. So we are Sun and Leo energy, and Venus has now moved into Leo as well. So we have Sun and Venus now in Leo. Venus, of course, is an important planet to be following during these times because the North Node is in Taurus. Venus rules Taurus. The dispositor of the North Node is then Venus. So this does bring us to where we've been going through quite a soup, I'll call it, of a soup that feels like one from the soup lines in many ways, feeling like we need nourishment, and there hasn't been much nourishment because Venus has been in Cancer in opposition to that Pluto that's been retrograde in Capricorn that's ready to go into Aquarius here after it turns direct at the beginning of 2023. And so this has been a lot of feeling where our cup is dry. On top of that, we've been going through this North Node and Uranus transit with Mars that has been very, I would say, destabilizing, to say the least, in our lives, of seeing what things in life are not working and what things are of value that we want that are not easy to get. You know, it's taking routes that, you know, knowing when we have to like say, okay, this is getting too complicated and it's getting too weird, and it becomes too much of a maze where you have to, you know, realize you're not going in the right direction. So I think Venus being in Leo here for this full moon is a positive thing to at least help us start to focus some positive things into our life here after being quite gutted, to be quite honest with you. But this full moon is definitely not an easy one. It is in Aquarius, conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, that's retrograde at 22 degrees. And this one is in a big T-square to Uranus at 18 degrees. So the sun just finished its square, quite literally just finished the square to Uranus, as it's this full moon that itself, the moon itself, is squaring Uranus. So we have a massive T-square you can see here in the chart. And actually, because the South Node is at 17 degrees now of Scorpio, we're in a grand fixed cross. So we're in a big pressure cooker here on this full moon in Aquarius. And so full moons, of course, are where we're going to do everything we can to release the energy. Remember, it was the new moon we had 2 weeks ago that was in Leo at 7 degrees that happened to have what? We had the beautiful energy of North Node Uranus, at least we thought. So these last 2 weeks have taught us so much. They've taught us a lot, especially regarding in our hearts where, you know, every time we try to connect to something that we think is of value, and if it becomes too complicated, we have to learn to go, there's a different direction to take, and that becomes frustrating. Venus in Cancer has made us feel depleted. Like, we want nourishment. We want to, you know, find that place that makes us feel good in our life, but that opposition to Pluto and Capricorn, especially Capricorn, rules that dryness in medieval astrology, that it's one of those things where it's like, it's like, especially with all the Aquarian and Uranus energy going on, you know, it's like the frazzled search and the frazzled, like, I can't believe this happened and I can't believe this happened, and trying to find that happiness and that inspiration. Now, I want to tell you that it's here, but I think that a lot of this full moon releasing is realizing I got to really focus on my future and know the areas in my life that I've learned quite a lot now about that are not going to work, and that also, I can't just continue to just keep waiting on the future for things to happen. Taurus and Leo are about the moment and seizing on the happiness in the moment, seizing on the planting of seeds in the moment, and not so worried about, when the rains are going to come, right? You can't, in Taurus, worry about when the rains are going to come. You have to have ultimate trust. And with the South Node being in Scorpio here, this is where this is. The walls that we project, the walls that we create in a projection, the trust issues that we have in a projection, the transformation that we project is too scary to do. Where Leo takes on the courage, Aquarius takes on the courage to be different. Taurus takes on the courage to own it. And so really the weak spot is the South Node in Scorpio. The illusions that we're creating, and even the wounds with Chiron that's here at 16 degrees of Aries in quincunx to the South Node now. This is where, the second that you think, oh man, this doesn't look good, it's like, I'm going to keep digging on that deeper. And I'm going to keep digging on that deeper to where I go past the level of even, pulling the scab off, where you're taking layers of skin and going deeper and going deeper. And it feels the pain more, especially when you're dealing with the sun starting to oppose Saturn, a full moon on Saturn. Moon-Saturn conjunction is not a fun transit. It's not an easy full moon, but it's one about making choices, better choices, especially with the square to Uranus in the North Node and the South Node, that this is very karmic, and this is also the precursor to what the lunar eclipse energy that's coming in November is going to look like, with a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, conjunct Uranus, square Saturn, with the nodes, conjunct Uranus, with the sun in Scorpio. So, this is where there's no more messing around after this point, especially when it comes to, I'm just going to think everything's going to be okay, and I'm just going to keep letting my weak spots take me down. This is where it's like we have to realize that we all have to step up. Uranus always asks us to step up, take the elevator up. Let's not forget, let's look at that speed of Uranus. Uranus is about to retrograde in about a week and a half here. So Uranus only doing 37 seconds, and here it is. It has slowed down to almost station, okay? So over the next 2 weeks, till we have that new moon in Virgo, I'm here to tell you, you think it's felt frantic and weird, it's going to be 10 times more. Whenever you have a planet, especially an outer planet, stationing and slowing down, and it's Uranus especially, talk about weird, talk about things looking odd, talk about things not working out and feeling more frazzled and more complicated and more confusing, especially when it comes to the frazzling in your mind and contemplating, trying to figure out a way to fix things or finding a solution. Maybe the solution is to have the courage to actually embody what feels good, especially what happens when it comes to love and when it comes to things that we actually cherish, that actually has the values that are going to move us forward into a better place. But the fear and also the contemplation and worried about the future of how that's going to go down is taking away. This Scorpio Aquarius energy is taking away the embodiment of the most beautiful energy of actual creation and actual devotion to things that actually are pure and that are actually divinely guided in our way. So many things have come at us in weird ways, and so many things have flown out of us at the same time with this Uranus North Node conjunction. But this full moon is saying, like, what did you learn? Because after this point with Saturn being here, especially that it's retrograde, especially that we are seeing Saturn now getting closer to, and I'm going to clear this chart real quick, getting closer to the square to Uranus again, the shattered reality that's becoming more and more apparent. Like last year, oh, we thought it was going to all go this way in life. No, it did not. Oh, it looks like the world's going to be okay in this way. No, it's going to shatter your reality. That this full moon's highlighting that. That, no more getting stuck under the glass ceiling that's shattering. Having the courage to go under the true place in life that really is that place that actually you can really plant the seeds in your life. We're not thinking about what's above. You're thinking about what's invested in the moment, what's invested in your true courage to step into transformation and not be afraid of it, by actually taking on things and moving into things where we're dropping the things in life that honestly Uranus and Taurus is saying is too heavy in a value system that's not making us move. We need to make change in our life to get out of these crazy situations, and we're just sitting there like white noise. This is a full moon about white noise. I'm just going to sit in the static. I'm going to sit in this static, and I'm not going to make a move, and I'm not going to do anything because I'm so frozen. It's the pressure that's built up under this grand fixed cross, okay? That is about allowing yourself to use this pressure to build something beautiful, especially in fixed energy. Let's not forget in fixed energy, we know exactly what we want. So stop acting like, well, I want this, but, I'm going to just keep doing what I don't want. You have to have the courage to do what you really want in your life. Let's not forget the deflationary energy of Jupiter that has gone retrograde with the last lunation cycle, which of course was the new moon in Leo. Just hours after that new moon in Leo happened, boom, Jupiter went retrograde and stationed. And it's in a semi-square to Saturn. No joke. So there's this kink toes, and we've already been dealing with this whole Saturn-Jupiter thing since 2020, well, on December 21st when they conjuncted at 0 Aquarius. Now we're at a 45-degree angle where Jupiter's trying to get away from Saturn and build up, right, at least to a sextile. No, not yet. Now we're at a semi-square. So we haven't seen a positive aspect from Jupiter-Saturn yet. If anything, this is the last hard aspect we're going to get before we see a really beneficial one. And so this one is really difficult because this is bringing up this kink toes in our life of the confidence and the identification, and that we only actually get in life the blessings that we want when we actually take the steps in life to go towards what we actually define and what we actually identify with of what we actually want in our life. And we actually move towards the future with that. And we make choices that are best for us, and we disconnect from the energy of the cycles of the loops and the things that are too contemplative and too white noise and too staticky and not connected, or worrying too much about what people think instead of your own self. This is where if you can't move forward into what you want because of what other people are telling you or what you think in the world is going to be the impact because of some crazy idea that comes up to your mind, you're failing. And not only just failing after this full moon, are you going to go anywhere, or are you just going to sit in the white noise? This is Leo. Let's not forget that the sun is the ruler of Leo. And so when we look at the essential dignities on this full moon, of course, the moon being with Saturn, of course, it being in Aquarius with this in opposition, it's at a negative position. But Mercury being in its home sign of Virgo, it's at home. The sun's at home. But Venus just entering into Leo here with the sun here, it's like, okay, I got to bow down. The sun's in its house here. Mars still in its detriment. Saturn, we've been seeing Saturn in its home sign since December 21st of 2017. This has been a very tough and long haul since December 21st, 2017 for all of us. We've been gaining strength. We've been learning how to make better decisions. We've been learning to have better character and have better integrity, but also to know how to make decisions and to keep moving forward in life and to keep knowing how to make choices in our life that's going to advance us in a better way. And so this brings up this that's been going on since then extremely. But at the same token, having Mercury here, we've been seeing quincunxes to Jupiter, and it's kind of weird to see this Mercury not really be aspected at all. Like sure, if you want to start using some kind of crazier transits and stuff that, most astrologers aren't going to use out there. If you want to use some of them though, there's really it almost is like Mercury's out on its own right now. So when it's in its home sign of Virgo, it's like, we need to get very specific on what we know. To act like you don't know what to do right now, I'm just going to say it, is idiotic. I don't know what to do. It's like, no, you know exactly what to do. You know exactly the feelings. You know exactly the courage it's going to take. You know exactly the better place you'll go. But it's going to feel like jumping a fence. But it's jumping a fence out of hell and into heaven. And it's crazy that there's so many people, and I battle it with myself. We're all in this weird place where we're all sitting in this fear or this hesitation or this white noise. We know what's going to take us to feel better. We just have to learn to execute on that. Instead of execute ourselves by being in fear, and execute ourselves by not having the courage, execute ourselves by not moving into what's going to bring us our happiness, execute ourselves by not bringing us into the definition of change and to actually take action, which Mars now at 25 degrees of Taurus is now starting to trine over to Pluto. So thank God for this, because Mars already in its detriment doesn't have a lot of energy, and thank God that it's coming to the end of being in Taurus, but it's slowing down. Remember, we have a Mars retrograde coming in Gemini, less than 30, it's actually exactly now 30 degrees away. At 25 Gemini, we're going to see Mars retrograde here on October 30th. So, we're now heading into a zone where Mars is slowing down, okay? Now it's doing 36 minutes a day. It was just doing 37 yesterday. But there is this Mars that's going to get its last little amp power here, okay? to Mars or to Pluto, about getting that determination and allowing ourselves to know what it is we want. Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio. And so, but with the South Node being slammed here in this Grand Cross, and also being at a point to where it's illusionary, you know, this is not about using this creation of, you know, destroying the ability for us to have a better life and to actually make change that can actually take us to a place where we can build a foundation and build things and create and go into things that are physical. Instead of tearing down the physical things, it's more about moving into the beautiful physical things and taking what's needed, and whatever is not needed, those things can be sorted out once you've been in heaven. It's a lot easier to fix things and understand things and deal with things in heaven about what you left in your old apartment in hell than it is by trying to figure it out in hell. Think about that. Take that in for one moment. It's a lot easier when you're always on the better side of anything in life. Whenever you go to the side where, oh, geez, I'm glad I'm out of that storm. I left my jacket over there. It's like you kind of don't care. You're like, I'll go over there and get it because at least you've been restored. This is an energy that's trying to restore us and get us out of the white noise, get us out of the confusion, and get us, more importantly, out of where we are being so frantic, where we are doing things that make no sense, where we are logically trying to understand things where there is no logical understanding. We have to follow the energy of our senses and follow the energy of our heart and our courage. We have to follow the energy of what actually feels good instead of pulling those walls and going, this doesn't feel good. Because I'm sitting away from what feels good. I'm too afraid to embody myself. I'm too afraid to embed that in myself. And I think especially now that Venus has joined this party here, you know, it's definitely one where, you know, you have to learn to find inspiration and hope and positivity and be a guiding light and be one that actually shows the way. And this is a time for way showers. This is not a time if you want to be on the back seat. If you want to sit on the back seat and you want to not be part of the show and you want to be in the back seat, you're just part of the white noise. And Mars here not only is starting to trine over to Pluto, but it's in sextile to Neptune retrograde here in Pisces. That our intuition is just in the magic that's around and the spirituality, especially whether it's your guides, whether it's God, whether it's there's this huge divinity that's calling for you to embed this change into your life and to take action upon it. Instead of you sitting in the background, stoned, eating potato chips and just not knowing which direction to go. That is not the way to use this transit. This is definitely a time where all the static and all the wires that feel like they're all messed up in the back is where you literally, instead of trying to get back there and get dirty behind the TV and get all the dust on your fingers, you literally go, why am I even still fucking with this old projector TV? Why don't I get something that's wireless? That I already want, that I already love, but I'm scared. What is it going to look like in this room if I take that away out of my life or let that go? Or maybe I don't even want a TV at all. Maybe if I turn that area in because I like reading books and I put bookshelves up. Oh, but I won't be able to listen to the fake media and all their crazy lies that are fucking programming me. So, it's not easy because, again, a full moon is where we have to release. And with Saturn being here, it's releasing of the pain and the suffering, especially with North Node being on Uranus, with full moon being on Saturn in Aquarius. This is people issues. This is cord issues. This is realizing now I'm not going to sit on frequencies that are not in my frequency level of this new frequency and my courage and my heart and what will bring me happiness. And so this is pretty simple, but it seems complicated. But it's like, this is where you have to learn. It's not so much about cord cutting. The idea of cord cutting means that you're giving too much power to the cord. It's about understanding I'm either connected in the energy that is connecting or I'm not. Right? We don't leave our cell phone chargers at the hotel. You don't even think about that, right? And if you do, you're like, oh God, I left that there. My cord's still there. You call the hotel, can you bring me my cord back? It's always a cord that we want back. The idea of like, oh, I got a cord cut means, oh, I still want it, but I don't want it. And then that puts it in a place of purgatory or puts it in a fucking box at the middle of who knows, God knows where. In the back of your closet, in an old box that you'll eventually 3 years later go, oh, I'm going to throw that away anyway. It doesn't even necessary in my life anymore. This is where you have to get rid of this whole idea of cord cutting. It's much more about like, I am aligning and I am plugging into the energy that is giving me life force energy. Let's not forget, if you were to look at this chart as a human being that was born right now at this moment, as an astrologer point of view, this is a chart about breeding, about creation, about making and continuing on in life and bringing power. The sun in its home sign, Venus in Leo, is about creation. It's about creating the energy of the life force and the love. Taurus, the life force energy. Aquarius too. Scorpio, these are the energies that bring us the fixed energy to bring us life, the meat and potatoes that need to shift now in our life. You don't like potatoes anymore? Why do you keep fucking keeping on there the plate? It's not so much about how far you throw the potato. It's much more about what you're integrating into your meal now in life. This is about our senses. This is about where we're feeling disconnected or we're feeling senseless or numb. And that numbness is coming from too worried about some other outside situation. That's what Aquarius rules. And it's usually always, well, what will my parents think? What will this person think? What will that person think? Or just letting your mind get too far out of the horizon where Saturn's saying, whoa, there are boundaries even in Uranus's realm. Right? This is also where it's like allowing yourself to be a kid again, to be the teenager is what Leo rules. And to allow yourself to not let the elderly energy within yourself stop you from being that teenage life force that wants to go physically feel life, that wants to go out with your friends or go out with people and live life, wants to go walk on the sand instead of look at it through a VR set or off a fake sound on your iPhone of an ocean that you listen to when you sleep. No longer can you live in this world because the world that's crashing is because of a world that nobody's living in a physical embodiment of that passion, of that creation, and of that real physicality and that courage to step into those realms. We live in a world now that is crashing because of a world where we are more disconnected, we are more in the static, we are more in the fear of disconnecting from our electronic world, our technological world, and more importantly, of a world where everybody is looking at each other on a fucking social media platform and judging how you're living your life based off you chose that person or you didn't choose that person, or you're single or you're married or you're whatever, and all making those judgments and basis that you're too worried about than focusing on the actuality of whatever it is in the embodiment and the beautiful energy of that creation itself. That was some good shit. And at this point, there's no more fuck ups. There is a weird moment here of where we are choosing sides in our life. Up until this point, you've had plenty of lessons. You've had plenty of fuck ups. You've had plenty of situations that have taught you, okay, I'm not going to deal with that no more in my life. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to deal with that. After this, it's like a video game. Like, sorry, it's not like you're going to have 12 lives in the video game anymore, right? It reminds me of Nintendo when I first had it in 1989 at 5 years old. I used to play Ninja Gaiden. One of the best games ever made. But boy, every time you got hit, you got to think of it like that now. But you don't want to be in a hesitation place of, I don't know which move to make, because you can only win the game if you're actually being the ninja and running as fast as you can and jumping in the air and doing all the stuff that you have to do. When I race jet skis, do you think that I hesitate to win? I have to pin it to win it. I don't disconnect in my mind and go, what am I going to do? The turn, fucking, there's a guy over here, the fucking jet pumps in my face. No, I pin it through. The only way in life right now is to make a pivot and to make a change and to do it. After this, every moment that's just going to keep keeping you in the white noise, keeping you in the numbness, keeping you away from your emotional happiness, keeping you in the craziness of this world and this program that's trying to encapsulate you right now and eat you alive, because what it's doing is it's taking you away from the nourishment that you just realized over the last couple of weeks you're not getting, that you're not allowing yourself to have. And you can blame outside energies of like, well, this person isn't, or this situation isn't showing up in order for me to get nourished. And that's where it's like, then pivot to where it is. Stop complaining about what isn't showing up from the outside world to nourish you. Go take the courage and get the nourishment where nourishment is necessary. It's a protection. Rejection is protection to move you into the energy where you can move in your life. So stop, oh God, that situation didn't work out. Well, there's a lot of other ones that can. It's a carousel out there right now. I'm sorry to say that you jumped on the carousel and that horsey wasn't going up and down the way you wanted to. Jump on another one. But I have to get off this one and I have to so just get on the fucking next one. Let's go. Oh God, they closed the ride at the theme park and it's a roller coaster now of just emotion because I fucking can't go, I came here just to go on this one. Don't, this is not us trying to jump fences at Wally World and fucking vacation and force ourselves to open the park, motherfucker. No. Go to Disneyland or go to Knott's Berry Farm if fucking Wally World's closed, which is Six Flags if you didn't know. Don't try and force yourself to go in to the fucking theme park that's closed. It's pretty simple, but no, everybody right now is, I'm going to fucking, oh God, why isn't this working? Let me find another entrance into this thing. Totally right. Let me find another way in. Let me know if I know somebody. Oh, I love people in LA and fucking, my whole life is Orange County, LA, Vegas. Oh yeah, hold on. I know this guy. I know this girl. I know this person. I know this person. You want in? I go, blah, blah, blah. Fuck all that shit. You weren't meant to go in there if it wasn't a natural, beautiful way of you walking in. Oh, I can get you in the back door, but you gotta tell a couple of your buddies they can't come and you gotta get a couple more chicks. You really think that's the world that is supplying us and making us feel good? What about all those other people? What about your friendships? What about the people that are actually there to support you, that you love, that actually are embodied in your life to go hang out with you in moments when you do have bad times, that are actually there for you to play cards when the world's electricity turns off? Especially for you out there in Europe. So this is not just some full moon report. This is not some full moon report that's going to be talking about Lions Gates or all these different gateways and portals of that you must access it in an external form. It's you embed it. You take the action. You own it. North Node in Taurus is teaching you to own vibrations and sell, like literally sell, even if you don't get anything for it, the frequencies that fucking are not working. I'm done with that and I'm buying and I'm owning the energy that is the frequency that is beautiful. I am owning the energy that I have the power to make and create my happiness. But we are all seeing so many people and ourselves deal with this battle of this internalization of I'm not good enough. I don't think I can create this. Well, there's all these complications with all these other people or all these other weird situations that I have to do. Do you even really want to do those situations? Do you even really want to deal with those people in those kind of ways? Or are you too afraid to stand on the fucking platform of your own courage and live in your own happiness and be your own inner power of your own divine guided power? Or are you just going to be subject to, I'm selling my soul to the worries. I'm selling my soul to the worries of the world. I'm selling my soul to the worries of people. I'm selling my soul to the worries of the fucking walls that I'm going to put up from the change that's going to truly make me have the greatest moments in my life, truly make me make the greatest life I ever wanted. You know what's so crazy in this time? Is the projection that's projected out there in the world right now that this world's going so bad and so crazy and all this shit is what you're doing to yourself in your own life. That's an externalization of what's happening in the collective at this moment. That this is actually the moment in your life on this full moon to finally disconnect from that and to finally go, I've learned my lessons. God has put you through loops and loops and loops here to be like, okay, I fucking have seen the loops. Am I really going to have the courage to do what is necessary to bring me my happiness and live in the ultimate, most highest valuable life that's going to take me to places I can't even dream as high as those positive and beautiful creative forces. That's what this is about. And if you're not ready for that, then you are not even close to ready for what's coming for the rest of this year into next year. You're not even close. And we're at a point to where there is no more choice to fuck up after this point. The white noise will overtake you, the emptiness, the numbness, the disconnection, and the coldness will rule you. And it won't be King's Landing. This is your choice between King's Landing and fucking living outside the ice wall. This is your choice on whether or not you know how to actually live your life and the life that you want to have and actually create it, and to realize that this is a time to take the gambles on the better things, to take the gambles on things that bring you your happiness, that bring you this overwhelming response energy of a fuck yes, this feels good, this is the invitation that I know that God has showed up with that I'm going to take. Or are you going to be like Cinderella, and when it all shows up, run away and run back up to your little tower and rely on some mice to save you and unlock the door? Because I'm sorry to say, after this, there's no more of that. Let's take a look at the cards for this full moon. Yep. Cinderella stories all over the place. And I'm sorry to say, the fairy godmother's already showed up. Right? She's already changed a fucking pumpkin into whatever you need. She's fucking turned your fucking mice into fucking horses. But you're going to sit in the house with Lucifer the cat. Literally. That's the name of the cat. Lucifer. You're just going to sit there. You're going to let the evil stepmom that married your father, and when your father died, now she's taken over, and your stepsisters are telling you what to do and to clean the dishes and live the life that you want, and you're too afraid to change that. You're too afraid to step up to the power and say no. You're too afraid to change life. You're too afraid to get out. You're too afraid to move on. You're too afraid. You want to keep cleaning the floors of the life that you hate. You're going to want to sit into the isolation place. You want to be treated like fucking, you're fucking a horrible person because you're too afraid, because everybody that's in a low frequency around you doesn't want you to move on. Anybody that won't let you move into where it's going to make you happy right now is a fucking parasite, is a person that is in the darkness, is in the cold, and they're too afraid. They're too afraid to watch you evolve. They're too afraid to watch you change. And that's where so many people in this collective right now have turned into that. And I'm only speaking now to those that are out there that are awake and that feel this and see the love and see the positivity and see the future and see this new frequency and see this new earth. And it's now. You jump, you take it, you do it. You don't fucking sit there and sit with Lucifer the cat that eats the mice and chases the mice that are there to save you. And then especially you're surrounded by energy. Even when God shows up, you run away. Instead of owning the truth, even if your fucking slippers don't work anymore, even if that dress turns back into the tatters, do you really think that the prince would have fucking said no? I as an astrologer that's been doing this so long, and all the astrology out there now that is just, I hate to say it, just not going onto that level anymore. They're just not. It's because you can see now, even in the astrology community, especially with ISAR that's about to happen, where you can't go unless you have a fucking passport, or you take a fucking up your nose that now is being literally used as bioweapons fucking in China. That's been reported by a Democratic congressman on the Intelligence Committee. We're in a world now where everything is splitting. And you could be on that side of coldness and darkness and this idea of tribalism to stick together in this weird, crazy way that's taking into a place that's a cliff that's going to go off. Or you can be around people who want to find happiness, love, and create things and be actually inclusive because they want to see the uniqueness and the value that you bring and aren't judging you because of some paperwork you have, or how many followers you have on your fucking Instagram or your phone, or because you're doing the right thing and following what everybody else is doing and what your parents tell you to do and what these people tell you to do and what side are you going to pick at this moment? And as an astrologer, to even see ISAR do that, and as an ex-ISAR member, I'm disgusted. I can't even believe. If I was an astrologer, I would be saying something about that. But, you know, you're not going to hear anything. You're going to probably hear them make a statement the next week, be like, oh, that's from like, you know, like last year. We just never took it off the website. Really? It says all of 2022. And you'd think weeks before it would be off if they actually were an organization that actually cared about astrology. And it's ironic they're using a half heart, not a full heart. I actually was going to go and be a vendor there, and I got asked to be a vendor there because I've been a vendor at many of the astrology conferences. But guess what? It's not inclusive. It's cold, detached, and cares more about the status of something that doesn't even work, that's causing pain and suffering to millions of people around the world, that's taken them out of their jobs or made them make these crazy choices, or now been forcing them to test themselves in ways for something that we don't even know what it is, where it came from, and now is the DNA, we don't know where it goes, and that we're being warned by our own government. There's other foreign countries that are using it as against us as American citizens as bioweapons. But, you know, that's astrology today. So I ask you to join High Vibe, cheaper than ISAR, where we talk about the truth and do these astrology horoscopes every day and give it to you straight and tell you about what's going on. And don't take, at High Vibe, we don't take what is the idea of, oh, the highest vibe is what is good for the collective, when it's not good for the collective, when it's the shadow of the collective, the shadow of this transhumanism going on, the shadow of this very dark, numbing, and false light of wokeness that is all over the place. And every astrologer on that list, if you follow them on YouTube, you should ask them directly, what side are you on? I'm not afraid to say it. I got nothing to lose with Uranus opposed by Mars. I got nothing to lose with this full moon square my Mars. I got nothing to lose with even Saturn squaring my midheaven right now. I've already been tarnished by that community because I predicted all this stuff and they didn't want to believe me. I've already been taken down and blocked by half those astrologers because I said when it came to the, I was like, it's not going to work. Saturn square Uranus, hello. Saturn, Pluto, all these things. And I'm still blocked and they're still asking people for it. And all the data's out now. We all know it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. It actually goes to the negative. So actually somebody like me who doesn't have that is safer by going there. But I can't. I can't be part of a fucking community that I've been part of for over 10 years. I can't be part of a community that literally is about the life work that I love. Is that going to stop me from living my greatest life? No. But it makes it clear to me in my life that that's not a chord. And it makes it clear to me in my life that that's a ship, a Titanic that's about to fall. That all the astrologers that are in that and all the astrologers that are in that fucking place are going to go crash and show all their viewers and show all the people that they do astrology. They're going to embarrass astrology. They're going to embarrass that they were on the wrong side, that they wanted to take the side of totalitarianism, that they wanted to take the side of being fucking non-inclusive. You know, before it was the Leo King, before it was High Vibe TV, it was inclusive astrology. That's what my first company was. And it's still out there on the internet today. I don't write blogs on it anymore because it's all moved into this form, but I can tell you as somebody who created the definition of inclusive astrology in 2011 with Saturn in Libra, I can tell you, we're watching a world right now and you should be careful about who you're watching right now and seeing if they're truly inclusive. If they're calling things out that are true, Because right now, what I'm seeing, and I'm getting the emails from Astrology Hub to go to the party and all this shit. They don't even care about me. That wasn't a personal email sent to me. That was they're not even thinking. They're not even. Oh, they already know I don't have that. Or maybe they do know, and it's just a smack in my face when I helped create that fucking company and inspire the head of that place and fucking do all this work to help and give all my fans to tell to go over there and then just be thrown out because I was talking about things during a presidency that they don't like. So this is where in my life I embody my truth, I embody who I am, and I'm going to go create the life and with the people that are on that team of light and positive and good and inclusive. And I no longer in my life am I going to connect with any soul or any situation. And that's not a selfish thing in these times. This is a moment where you take your power back and you connect with souls in the vibration that you must, because it is only true and it is only holding the highest fabric of the divine. And it is holding that fabric by love and by grace of creation and beauty. Not by this dark, secretive, sucking in, email only, weird distractive social media, fucking weird Zoom call, weird wearing a mask, literally, world. See the cards that are popping up for this. And I just had to say that because even in myself, I'm going through it like we all are. And I'm honestly never in my life, and I'm following my North Node in Gemini in the 10th, and Mars now in my 10th. I have to say it. I've never been more sad and more, disappointed in my life that an organization that I was a member of, an organization in 2016, I went to it, went and hung out with all the astrologers afterwards, right? And to see so many that I know jump on this bandwagon and jump onto this fucking tyranny. And many that are YouTube astrologers. It's one of the saddest moments in my life as an astrologer. Like, I looked up to so many of these people to be friends and to do work with and to hopefully find ways to solve problems for humanity. And they don't ever want to talk about that stuff. They don't want to call any of this out. They just want to say that this is the show, that's the way it is. And now, I don't even know one place in LA or anywhere that would say, hey, did you get that? The only place I know of in the whole world right now is the ISAR Astrology Conference. Think about that. All right. Well, I pulled two cards right away. I got a Queen of Swords in reverse, and I got a Seven of Pentacles. So I got to say, with the Seven of Pentacles, it's time for us where we can't fuck up. We got to put our energy where we know we're going to invest our energy. We got to trust, and we got to put it in order to get the returns in life, to grow the things in life, and to have the actual beautiful things in life, And it's one of those things where it takes work. But with this Queen of Swords in reverse, it's almost like with this card, I think the shadow underneath this is like, but is it going to be okay? Or I need to have a clearer vision of like where it's all going. It's like, focus on the moment. Focus on the shovel, moving the fucking dirt, planting the tree, watching the things grow, watering it, doing it. And you naturally in the moment watch it all form. So stop worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, but focus on the moment and the beauty that you're creating and the life force that you're creating now. We got a Two of Swords here upright. Wow. So this is definitely a time where people are on the fence about a lot of things, feeling blindfolded. I don't know where to go. I don't know what I should invest in. You do know. It's the falsity because you're using your head. Stop using your head and stop using your eyes to look to see where the future is and where to go, about what choice to make. You know here in your heart, you know here in your soul. Your eyes have to be wide open in your heart. You have to use your third eye. You have to use the spiritual eye to understand, not your mental. Our challenge card we got here is the Death card. It's okay, but don't be afraid of the challenge that things need to change on the fullest level in our lives. And that the real passion and the real needs that we need are only going to come by the things that we finally say no to in our lives, that we finally say, this is the transformation I'm ready for. But this is a challenge. If you're too afraid to make the change, if you're too afraid to go through the metamorphosis of this change, if you're too afraid to realize and you can't see what's coming in your spiritual peripheral view of this is coming in to get rid of this so I could go to a better place. Don't try and fucking put a stop sign up to when death shows up on his death horse. I'm sorry, but don't. It's not going to be fun. And you're going to feel more in the white noise and more stuck than you ever have. Our overall that we got is a 10 of Pentacles in reverse here. I think that we need to remember overall, are we just watching our foundation slip away because we're not willing to change, because we're sitting on the fence too much? And the idea is the false identity that, oh, I'm still creating my foundation, or I need a foundation before I can do something. No, this is our time where we create foundations by taking the action and building them, not by, well, I need to do this until I can build a foundation. No, you build a foundation now. We got 7 of Pentacles here before the 10 of Pentacles. So, it's like the idea like, no, I can't do this until I've got this figured out, or I've figured out this level, or I've got this that I've created. No. Stop tearing down your foundations by doing the whole, I got to build this first in order to then build the foundation I want. You have all the tools. You have the power. You have the resources from the divine. You have everything the universe has shown you. With this North Node Uranus, with Mars sextile Neptune, with Mars trine Pluto, with the Sun in Leo, with Venus now coming into Leo, with Venus that made its last opposition to Pluto in Capricorn, which we'll never see, because Venus will be so fast next year before the retrograde when that happens in Leo, which will be the first in our lives that we'll see a Venus in Leo fully retrograde, that it will be Pluto in Aquarius when it opposes it, and then the following year. So I'm just trying to tell you, like, stop tearing down your life by actually feeding the wrong vibration of foundational energy. Stop being afraid to lose the foundation that's already, the foundation slipping. It's already slipping. It's about to fall into the fucking lake, or it's a big Malibu house that you see fucking, that's protruding off the fucking cliff, and it's like, oh no, it'll be fine, just any day now. Spiritual advice. Wow, the Magician card. Thank God. I gotta say, the Spirit's coming through so powerfully. It's time to be the alchemist. It's time to be the magician. You already know all the fundamentals and understanding of the way on how the universe works and how to create life. Stop going against yourself. Stop investing against yourself. Stop investing in energy that's away from your magic. Stop putting it on other people. Stop putting it on all these outer circumstances. Go invest into the best fucking version of yourself. Go be the magician that creates the life that you can create in this moment. Stop following the frazzled. Stop following the weird subconscious. I can't because it's too weird about this. That is not you. That is not you. Literally, it is not you. You know your power. You know where to invest. You know what's the good stuff. Stop running the opposite direction. Stop sitting in the white noise. Stop sitting in your indecision. Stop sitting in a place that is not your true heart. Start living in your inspiring self. Start showing the way and start guiding people with the power to create and showcase the light that you are. You showcase it. This is where all the masks are coming off of, where people really are good and really willing to show the beauty that they create and show up with the heart and show up with the courage. And those that are gonna be the ones that reveal that they are courageless, that they are scared, that they are living in fear, and that they are too caught up in frequencies of other people, group mentality, and crazy transhumanism, and crazy weird fucking algorithms, because they just live in the isolation of their mind, that they can't live in their hearts and they can't create shit. I appreciate you all so much. This is what you miss out every day on High Vibe, plus all the other shows that are exclusive to High Vibe. Please join today, opposed to places that are requiring you to show what actually hurt you in your life and is coming out to show you that it could be a bioweapon of astrologers. They're asking you to go to conferences and do things and watch their things when they don't say anything about this stuff and they don't give you anything this deep. I appreciate you all so much. Appreciate you all on High Vibe, and I'll see you all, of course, after I do Spiritual Deus Physic, and then, of course, Full Disclosure. That's coming on today, because this is a fucking full moon, and I also am doing fucking deep astrology. So it's a crazy fucking day this Thursday. I love you all. Just please choose the right side and don't fuck around anymore, please, because I'm putting the warnings I put out like I put out in 2019. There's a fucking plague coming, and it's going to be used to control people, and it's not going to be natural, and they're going to tell you if we don't destroy this thing now that it's going to take us over, and you have to do this, and if you don't, you're bad, and go rewatch my fucking prediction videos. I'm telling you, on this full moon, you have no more space to fuck up and take on the wrong frequency. You have no more space to fuck up and keep putting into the ether of the future of worrying about what's this going to do and how's it going to happen and and losing yourself in the white noise of other people, your brain, your mind, your futuristic self, and the fears. This is where you embed, you create, you actually take love into the physical form. I love you all. I'll see you on the next one.